Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Good, beautiful day to all of you out there in the diaspora as well as here in Nigeria. You're welcome to the transportation segment of Money Radio on Leadership TV. With me in the studio to discuss a topic today, which is the update on Abuja Kaduna Railway repair. Is AGK. You're welcome. And I'm your host, Kate Hammond. AGK is the in-house analyst of this organization, and I can assure you, you are in good hands when he's on the show. AGK, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, the only thing about you that I don't like is you like to chop alone.
No, listen, I will bring you in.
Share.
I'll bring you in.
So, Abuja Kaduna Railway repair update. What's going on?
Yeah, I'm sure you're referring to after the bombing.
After the bombing, of course. The bombing took place about 3 weeks ago.
The 28th of March.
Yes.
Yeah, so after then, we've been having a little bit challenge with relaying the coaches and the locomotives. You know, the nature of the bombing was so massive that even the scene of the bombing, it's as if they were climbing a bridge when the bombing occurred. So you have spaces in between the tracks like this. It's not a balanced surface.
Yes.
It's not a flat ground. It would have been easier to repair. But we have a situation where the train was going up a bridge.
Yes, ascending
a bridge when it was bombed. So now the crane that NRC brought in to help in repairs and all these things is even not comfortable. It's not balanced enough to move out the coaches. So
but let me get something from you. You were saying that the coaches were thrown off.
Some of the coaches were thrown off.
As a result of the bombing, or
yes, the thing was moving on the tracks.
Yeah,
and the bomb exploded. So it's a simple understanding that it's going to throw some off.
Yes,
and it's going to blow some away. Some will be behind. So that is exactly what happened. Now some were still on the track, but so many of them, about 14 of them, were blown out of the track.
14 coaches.
Yes.
How many coaches were there on the track?
Yeah, I think they were total about 17.
17.
Now you have
and 14 were blown off the track.
Blown off the track. That is derailed.
Okay, derailed. All right.
That is the right word for it. Which means it left the track.
You know, when I ask the question, forgive me, because when I ask the question, what I mean is whenever I see bomb, I see things thrown up.
No, it's not that.
Okay, it was a derailed.
It was derailed from the track.
All right.
So if a coach is derailed from a track, you need to relay it back to the track.
Yes. Put it back on the road.
Not on the road.
On the track.
Talking about
on the track.
So you need to put it back. Let me use a simpler word. Put it back on the track.
Yeah.
So that is exactly what NRC has been doing since March. Today is about what?
Today is the 14, almost 14 or 15.
14 or 15th of April. So you can imagine, about 3 weeks now they've been working on that. So today, as at this week, today, they've succeeded in relaying all the coaches and the locomotives. So which means all of them have been brought back and sent to the stations for repairs. Now, what we have is that in that scene, we don't have any coach or locomotive again. As of today, they've succeeded in relaying all of them. Relaying, which means bringing them back to that track and moving them back to their station for repairs.
Okay.
As a result of the accident.
Yes.
So they finished that. Now they are going to concentrate on repairing the tracks. Now the tracks were blown too.
Yes.
Just the impact of the bomb cut off some parts of the tracks.
Okay.
So that is where they are going to focus on. And the NRCMD engineer affiliate here said it's going to take them about 10 days to do that.
To repair it. So 10 days is not too much.
Give or take, we are looking at about ending of this month. They should be able to come back in a little full service. They should have finished the work on the track and maybe finish some part of the repairs, because the coaches were badly damaged by these terrorists. The shootings were too much. You had shootings from outside, and they came in and they were shooting and tearing down the coaches.
So let's talk about the coaches. We are coming back to the tracks, but let's talk about the coaches. Do you have an idea how much one of those coaches costs?
I wouldn't know for now.
Okay, that's by the way.
For now, but I know that then I don't know. I wouldn't know. You know, the prices keep changing, so I wouldn't want to say a figure that you're not sure of the exact figure for now.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the coaches were not new. They bought it like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
So it's not as if they bought it this year.
Okay.
So, but you have a situation. I don't think they're talking about buying. I think they're talking about repairing. So they will have to fix that. Just like you have an accident now, you fix a car.
Yeah. Those things tend to they are not as cheap as.
Of course.
Because I remember in Lagos State, first of all, you have to order them, and that order will.
It's not on the shelf.
Yeah, it's not on the shelf. Thank you.
It's not on the shelf.
Yes.
It's something you place an order, and it takes time to manufacture.
Yes.
Except you're buying a refurbished one.
Yes.
Which has been used abroad, and maybe you just paint it and bring it in.
Because I remember the Lagos State government bought those coaches from a company somewhere in the US. I've forgotten the state. But what happened, in fact, it was a serendipitous find, a serendipitous buy. It was a lucky buy or a lucky find. There was this governor who, in that state, had decided that the state needed X number or X train service. And then that governor lost election, and the governor who came, it was a Democratic governor, he lost the election. And then when the Republican governor came, the order was already in to produce those coaches. And then when that Republican governor came, he said, the state does not need that kind of project. So the thing was abandoned. So Lagos state government bought it. Yes, and then so that was a lucky buy.
It was an easy one.
Yes, it was an easy one, and they celebrated it. I can assure you that they did celebrate it. You know the story.
This particular coaches we're using for this rail line.
Yeah,
it's actually from China.
Okay.
And I was privileged to go with them when they were manufacturing it.
In China?
We placed the order, yes, we placed the order, and it takes time for it to be manufactured. In fact, the Minister of Transport, Rochimamachi, went with some of us who saw where they were actually doing the manufacturing.
Yeah.
So you see how they were fixing, doing everything, and about 6 months to 1 year, they finished the project and they brought them in. So if you're talking about adding more now, that means you have to place an order.
Yes.
And possibly towards the end of this year or next year.
Yes. So repair is the best bet.
No, for this one is repair. The damage is not so much that you can't repair.
Now, those damages, the damages. Can we say? Let's look at the train. First of all, we're coming back to the tracks, but let's look at the train there. You see, that is iron, and so the shots. That is the train, right?
This is just a bridge. This is not the actual train.
Oh, that's not the actual train.
This is not the actual train. But this is something similar to this.
Okay.
It's something similar to this. And you see, okay, look at the track. You see how the thing was cut?
Yes.
Something similar to this. That's what we have now.
We are coming to the tracks. Let's not
So this is just like the front of a train.
Yes.
This one is damaged. Something like this.
Okay.
So you need to fix the glass. As you remember, we're talking about this particular one. You fix the glass, you repair the bullet holes, you fill up the bullet holes, and you paint. But these are not the major problems. Fixing glasses and repairing, these are not the major problem. The problem is going to be with the place that the bomb exploded. The under
of the train. The chassis.
Yes, that's where you have to think. We can only hope that it's not too much of a damage. It's something that can be easily fixed. The body is not a problem. Even anything you're doing, even cars, the body is never a problem.
You know the reason why I'm particular about this body issue? You know, those guys were, as usual, heartless in
Yes.
their operations. They killed innocent people. They left bloodstains. They left gunshot bullets.
Bullets,
Uh,
bullet points. Yeah, they were actually bullets.
so, with the repair going on, assuming I enter such a train and I begin to see such
No,
palimpsest of palimpsest of of that train, or I see relics of
no, you
that
can,
that gory incident, I will surely begin to have
you can,
some
you know,
emotional.
what is happening to you is that you're just being traumatized by the incident. I can assure you that they will fix the blood stains were too many. Nobody can even use that train without proper fix. So they are going to totally remove the seats and fix them. It's something that is total refurbishing of the interiors of the train where the bloods were still. Because there's no way you're going to do something that people will enter and notice the blood stain. The trauma will be enough for any passenger to say, I don't want to
I don't want to go.
Yes. So I can assure you that they will work on that seriously. They will work on that one seriously. They're only going to have problem with the engine parts, just like I said. The underneath of the train, the locomotive, that is the driving, the place where the driver drives, all those things. That is where you're going to have issues. We pray that we don't have a situation where we go and we have so much damage to it. We pray that it's just something that we can manage and repair and we'll come back to this. But the most important thing is that we shouldn't have such a situation again.
We were coming to that, but before we come to that, let's take a short break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the tracks. Yes. Please stay tuned, listeners.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back, viewers. We're still on to Money Radio, and we are on to the transportation segment of the program on Leadership TV. With me in the studio discussing the update of the repair of
After
the
the attack.
yes, after the attack of the Abuja Kaduna Railway. Yes, and AGK has been in the studio here and giving us update. And of course, you can trust what he says. The man is close to the people at the top echelon of power. So when you hear from AGK, you can be rest assured what you are hearing is true. So the update. We talked about repairing the coaches. Now let's talk about the track.
No.
The repair is going to go on, and according to you, you said earlier that at least we're going to have something in the neighborhood of another 10 days, or
And
max at the end of the month, we're going to have the tracks repaired, or the track. There was one track, right?
the tracks.
Okay, we're going to have them repaired.
Yes.
Yes. Now, that is good news.
According
We,
to NRC anyway.
yes,
With us,
according to
that
NRC,
when we don't finish the job, Nigeria will not say GK said. It's according to NRC. Once you
okay.
say within 10 days, they should be able to finish it.
Yes, that's why I said you hear from the people there at the top. Wouldn't doubt you that is according to NRC. Now, let's talk about the railway. Now, we know that it's going to be repaired very soon, and that is good news. But that good news has a caveat which I want us to discuss. That caveat is what is being done to make sure that such incident does not recur.
Yes, I think that is the most important part of this talk today. You see, we had this incident as a result of negligence.
Negligence on whose part?
Negligence on the part of everybody that is involved. The government controls it. Government owns it. So it should be the government. There were signals. There were information. There were signs. There were warnings that these people were planning to attack the rail track. Last year, they intercepted a message between two terrorist leaders planning to attack. Security agencies intercepted, told the governor of Kaduna State, told the NLC. The governor said he told the president, and nothing was done. And they did it last year, November last year. Unfortunately for Nigerians or for us, the impact was not much. The driver succeeded in driving the train to Kaduna after the attack. So they came back now.
And regrouped.
And there's noticed that, okay, maybe the bomb was not big enough. And they planted massive bomb that succeeded in causing this havoc. As we speak now, we don't even know the number of people who are missing, kidnapped or dead. Because we don't know whether some people they took have died in the bush.
Yes.
We
Some
don't know
people have
because-
health problems, some people can't
Yes.
stand
Some
the
pregnant
wildlife.
women and all these things. Old women, old men. We don't know what is happening to them. We can't even account for them. Apart from the official figure from the manifest, about 362 passengers and others. What about the workers that enter the train? that
And the
don't buy
unofficial
tickets?
passengers.
No, we can't talk about that because I can assure you, forget what Nigerians are saying. I can assure you that there is nobody, except you are a worker. You cannot enter that train without passenger from Abuja to Kaduna. You can enter from Kaduna down to Abuja without ticket because from Regasa that as this is terrible. But from Abuja to Kaduna, you cannot enter that train without a ticket.
Okay.
I can say it anywhere, and I can prove it because I've been using it over how many months. It used to happen before. It used to happen, but there is a company called TPS who came and took over the sales of the ticket and everything. They make sure. What I can tell you is that some people may enter with another person's name.
Okay.
I can buy for you, and you use the ticket and enter.
Okay.
You understand?
But you can't enter
you
without
can't
a
enter
ticket.
without a ticket.
Okay.
So,
So we
we
had
the problems we have with the unaccounted persons are that train was 6 p.m. train. 6 p.m. train carry workers back home. Workers don't buy tickets. So their names will not be on the manifest.
workers. When you talk about workers,
Railway workers
oh,
who were going home, who were going to Kaduna, to Rigasa, to all these neighboring villages. They were in that train, and nobody knows exactly the number of them. Some
okay.
enter from Idu, some enter from Kogo. So as we speak now, some of them are missing. You don't even know. Now, it's except you have a contact with the person from the bush, you won't even know whether the person is there or whether the person did not come to work that day. So that is the situation. That's why we have a very dicey situation about the number of people who are missing. Now, that aside, we are coming to the tracks and all these things now. We pray that they fix the security. I was coming from an angle where I say it was negligence. When
Yes.
they had all this information, the Minister of Transport went with a proposal to FEC meeting, Federal Executive Council meeting, 3.7 billion for putting a camera like satellite security gadget on the track from Abuja to Kaduna. According to him, he said the security gadget was supposed to give signals to the monitor, just like you put camera in your house and you look at it in your TV or your phone or anywhere. That whenever anything touches the track, you will get a signal on your monitor. And the idea was that anywhere, whether it's an animal that passed the track, whether it's a human being, anything, they will see it. Which means if you want to move, you monitor it. You check for the past 1 hour what has been happening to the track. You know whether somebody has tampered with it. And because of politics, simple politics and greed on the part of FEC and members of the FEC that day, they stepped down the project. complaining that the
Just
company,
$3 billion
3.7 billion, complaining that the company was not competent.
dollars or naira.
Naira. Complaining that the company was not competent enough, that the company does not have money, that they don't know about the company. If you're not comfortable with the company, you could have asked. The first meeting that day was presided over by the vice president. Why I say everybody is involved in this mess. You could have easily asked the minister, this company, we don't know, bring another company.
Yes.
But ensure that the project is carried out.
Yes. And
Now,
so we're talking about Nigerian lives.
politics with that since last year. That was even before the first attack in November. We succeeded, they couldn't do it. That attack happened, they made noise, and they kept quiet again until this massive one happened. And the president had to give express order, let everything be approved. Why? People have died, people have lost their life. A lot of things that happen. The repairs of this thing and no amount can be quoted to humans.
In one human life.
Then, apart from the death, the things they've lost. How many days now they've not been working? We're talking about 200 and something million naira a month loss every day or something like that.
I remember it was 8.8
million
million.
a day.
Yes.
Count the number of this. Now you're repairing, you're fixing, you're bringing it. You have spent more than 3 billion naira already. And we have not talked about the debt. And we have not talked about any other thing. Who is losing? It's negligence.
Negligence.
And they had the worst part is that on that day that this thing happened, I have an inside information. Inside that told me that the signal between that place, Katari, Regina and Co, lost from the morning. And the control room noticed it that when they were going, there was no signal in this part. They could not assess what is happening there. But they did not do anything. They sent a message to Lagos, they sent a message, and they just risked it till the last trip. Which means those guys started overnight, made sure that there was no signal, then they could come back in the evening and plug the train. Because on that track, train passes it at least 2-3 hours interval.
But does that mean there was some insider sabotage?
There's no sabotage. They don't need sabotage. The place was porous. You don't need a sabotage to do that. What you just needed to do is just to go to the equipment there and what do you talk about? And just plant the bomb on the thing. Carry a bomb, fix on the track, and go your way because there is no camera. Nobody is monitoring you. Nothing is seeing you.
Okay, so now we're still talking about repair of the tracks. So, what is being done to make sure that
Now,
there is
we are talking about repairing now. What they are doing is simply repair, just like the name sounds.
Yes.
They are repairing it. They have not told us about fixing any dark security camera or anything for now.
Has the president not approved it?
He has approved it, but the thing takes up to between 4 to 6 months to be installed.
So, are we saying that the tracks will still be vulnerable, or Nigerians will still be vulnerable to that kind of attack?
No, what we are trying to say, only when the Air Force is coming in, the Air Force said they will be patrolling. They've been doing that before. They'll be patrolling, so which means when the train is about to move, since we have time, since 7, all those timing, the Air Force plane will move. Let you come, and you know when you're going, you observe them. But we can only pray that they don't come when the Air Force plane has not started moving, because they can come and put something and disappear.
Yes.
And wait by the corner. When the thing blows up, they will come out and attack. But the good thing is this: I think everybody is cautious now. The Air Force plane, security agencies, everybody will be cautious. And I think one of the best things they can do at this moment is to stop the night train.
Yes.
We had a very big challenge rescuing those guys because it happened in the day.
Yes.
Before you could mobilize people were already asleep. Some more security agencies were at home. Mobilize and get to the site. Those guys have finished operation. But I think it happened 10 a.m., 12 a.m., 12 p.m., 4 p.m. We will see that the response will be earlier.
Yes.
And the casualties may not be that much.
Yes.
So I think it's one of the things they need to do.
You make a very good point. So that we want to draw the curtain on to this Money Radio. This has been the transportation segment of the program. HK, thanks for always being here and ready to give us insight into the transportation industry in the country. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thanks to you, our producers. Thanks to you, mostly those of you who follow us. I've been your host, Case Hammond. Please stay tuned tomorrow again for another edition of Money Radio. Until we meet again, have a great day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.